World of Warcraft, the giant of all MMOs, the standard in which all MMOs are compared to, the MMO that is always said to be dying, the MMO with a lot of drama the last year or so, and the MMO today featured on Should You Play X MMO in 2023. In this video series, I'm covering the MMOs that I've played the most this past year and analyzing my opinions, thoughts, and feedback on if I can recommend the MMO players to this said game for 2023. I look at a lot of different aspects of the game, like how the community is, where the game is trending, what kind of new features or exciting features are coming in the future, and many other aspects. The unique thing about today's video is I'm not a World of Warcraft veteran player. I'm actually a more recent player of the game, so I feel that my perspective isn't as biased as someone like Asmongold or insert any other longtime WoW creator who may have a lot of history with the game. Thank you again to my members and patrons. If you do want to become a member, check out the link below in the description. You can get your name up here. You can get access to our members only Discord, badges, early access to videos, and much more. So the most recent installment or expansion of WoW is Dragonflight. This came out November 28th, and it brought with it dragon riding, a new race and class, and along with the actual game patch, they revamped crafting and made quality of life improvements. They also brought back the talent tree system, and I believe this was how it was in a previous expansion. I don't know which one. Again, I'm a WoW noob, but their talent system is now different and I love it. But there are probably other balance changes they made as well that I don't know about because again, I'm a noob and I do not know the ins and outs of all the balancing in the game. But the WoW Dragonflight expansion has been a solid expansion so far for me, and now I want to go into why I've enjoyed this expansion. First off, dragon riding is really cool. Even though the racing stresses me out because I don't like racing games, the Evoker class I've played for about 2 hours and it's really awesome. But it is not my main class, so I have not been able to play it as much, but I will be trying to once I get my main class to where I want it. But the crafting professions, on the other hand, excite me as well because I love the idea of fulfilling work orders and selling them to other players, and I love the ability to just create items and just sell things. I think it's just awesome. I really like how they've tried to revamp the crafting profession system. I also love the talent trees. It makes so much more sense than it did before, and plus I like the noise and effect that it makes and the UI when you slot a passive or skill in. I think for me, these types of changes are changes that needed to help me keep playing. Some of the systems in WoW seemed outdated and very confusing, so when they changed how the talent tree looked, right there for me, it's just so much easier to read and follow. For me, I look at a skill and I'm like, okay, this makes sense, this goes to this, and if I put this many skill points into this talent, then this talent or node opens up. That personally made a lot of sense to me, and I follow it a lot easier than the old one. I also really like the zones in Dragonflight so far. They're very vibrant, and I just reached the last zone and I hit level 70 before that. The zones are just very vibrant, and I think they look solid. I've also done a few dungeons, and those were very fun as well, especially the one where you get to fly around in the little vortexes and just kind of fly around to different spots. I thought that was unique and really cool. I'm also excited to do the raid and other content as well. But now I want to go into my journey and progression with this game because I've played and tried to play many times before in the last 5 years or so, and it's just been a ride. It's been an up and down roller coaster when it comes to WoW. I've tried the free trial a couple times as well, but I started to really trying to play when Legion came out, and I played a hunter and it was okay, but then I was like, okay, I gotta go up like 100 and something levels or something, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna boost a character. And my friends were like, do not boost your character, but I boosted a priest to 110, I think it was, and I had no idea what I was doing, and I quit after that. And now that I think of it, I actually don't think it was Legion. It might have been Battle for Azeroth. I don't actually know. Again, I am very noobish when it comes to the WoW expansions, but all I know is that I tried to boost and it just was a terrible idea and I quit. Because for me, leveling up that many levels was just so intimidating and just such a grind. I just didn't want to do it. So then I came back for Shadowlands, and I believe that's when they did the level squish, and that appealed a lot to me. So I played Hunter again, got through the Shadowlands, and ended up quitting just due to not having enough time to play. And the Hunter class was just, it felt still bleh to me. Then I came back again to Shadowlands and tried the Fury Warrior out, who's my friend suggested was his main and that he thought I should play this class. And by golly, this is the best freaking class in the game. I love Fury Warrior. Honestly, it hooked me into the game. And you want to know why? Because you have a freaking AoE called Whirlwind that actually does something. You also have mobility with that leap. Like, I loved Fury Warrior. It just felt so satisfying, and I got to the max level pretty quick, and it was awesome. But the point of me telling you all of this is the fact that I think it really matters what class you choose when it comes to these games sometimes. They can make or break your experience, and if you are trying out WoW for the first time in 2023, definitely do some research on classes, because I think your experience could be totally different depending on which class you take, because there's just a lot of time investment that goes into this. With ESO, I feel like you can rank up a lot quicker, in my opinion, or level up a lot quicker. With WoW, it feels a lot more grindier when it comes to that, so definitely do your research. Also, the classes in WoW are a little bit more constrained. Like, you can't do a lot of the same things you can do in ESO, where you can like mix and match skill lines. You just can't do that in WoW. So now let's get into what I actually like about WoW in general, not just Dragonflight. First off, I love the gear score in WoW. I really like this because it keeps you playing, plain and simple. I also think WoW has one of the best reward structures of any MMO, mainly because it was made in the early 2000s. WoW and RuneScape are the king on this, and if WoW was made now, it would have probably had a terrible reward structure. But I love how there are so many freaking mogs and mounts in this game that you can just earn from drops. It just makes it so much more fun to me, and it makes it fun to play the game knowing that I can go run old raids and have a chance at some of these cool mounts or other bosses in dungeons or whatever. This is one of the coolest features to me in this game. I also like the systems that they implement. These systems like Torghast seem very well thought out, and they allow you to have a reason to play the game. I love the roguelike type stuff, so I think that feature is just crucial to have replayable features in the game. For an MMO's health, I think it's really, really good. I also really like that the game seems to be alive and social in the bigger zones, in the most popular zones. I think that's awesome. I also love that you can fly on mounts, and that's also just very helpful. Another big thing is reputation that you earn in different zones. I love that as well, because again, it gives you reasons to run content over again. There's weekly quests that are rewarding, like the time walking thing. So overall, the gameplay loop in WoW is just awesome. What I don't like about the game is sometimes the game can seem very grindy when it gets to quests. The quests are also very fetch questy, and so that's just grindy in general. Also, the game isn't as alt friendly, so that is tough, I feel like, because sometimes I want to make alts, but it takes time to level your characters up, and for me in ESO, I feel like it takes a little less time to do that. Maybe for WoW it gets quicker, I don't know, but for me, I just feel like the game isn't as alt friendly. I also don't like how some of the dying mechanics work in the game. Like in dungeons, when you die and you go back to the beginning, that infuriates me so much. Like, especially in these older dungeons where there's like 1,000 mobs, please just add portals or something. Like, it's awful. Another thing that is dicey as well is the community, unfortunately. Like, I've never seen such a toxic community when it comes to running pugs. ESO is getting there, but man, WoW is on another level sometimes. One time this dude had never tanked this like level 20 or 30 dungeon before, and Timmy Tenders comes in and gets pissed, and he doesn't know the mechanics, the tank that is, and that Timmy Tenders guy wants to vote and kick him. He gets kicked, unfortunately, and then this other guy has to use the bathroom, and that guy that was trying to kick the tank before and successfully did it ended up doing another vote kick to kick the guy going to the bathroom. And me and my friend thankfully got the third guy to kind of rebel and have a mutiny, and we kicked the guy that was being ridiculous. I mean, it was ridiculous. Thankfully, I have a lot of friends that play this game, so I don't have to worry about that too much, but I will say that the community is toxic in a lot of ways when it comes to running things like that. Like, I don't know why, but they are just so toxic in some ways. I just don't get it. But moving on, I don't want to talk too much on that. Let's talk about some of the trends of the game. I do think that WoW is trending in the right direction, just from what I know from my limited knowledge. Obviously, people hate Blizzard and Activision for a lot of justifiable reasons, but when you look at the trends of the game at a high level, I think the game is in a healthy place. It seems like they made some really good changes in this last expansion, and I see the game having a solid year in 2023. And speaking on 2023, the future of the game, I think, looks bright as a whole as well. Again, it's the most popular MMO still, and I think they have made good changes from what I'm picking up, but I also think, again, with the nostalgia that they have and the reward system and the gameplay loops that they have, I just think WoW will always be relevant until a giant MMO comes along and just does something better. But the thing is, there's no giant coming along anytime soon. I mean, let's be real, guys. Ashes of Creation isn't coming out for like another 3 years probably. I mean, if it even comes out, we don't even know when this game will come out. And to be honest, if you look at all the other MMOs, I mean, they do some things good and they do some things better than WoW, but WoW just in general is been like the gold standard for MMOs, and until someone really breaks the mold and gets people to buy into that, I just see WoW always being a place that you can go and play a game and have fun, as long as they continually support the game. So my verdict is, putting aside any biases that you may have or how you feel about Blizzard as a company, I do think WoW is worth playing in 2023 when it comes to someone from my perspective who is pretty new to the game. I think it's not terribly beginner, unfriendly, but if you're looking for a new MMO to try out this next year, I think the game has become more beginner friendly, like I said, and has a pretty populated community. It also has systems in the game that keeps you coming back. It has reward structures that are classic and that are actually fulfilling and rewarding, in my opinion. It has really fun gameplay and gameplay loops, depending on the class that you pick. However, there are some downsides, like I said, when it comes to the community. There's some toxic things. There's a few mechanics I think a lot of people might not like, and there is some grindy aspects to the game, but overall, I think WoW is a solid game to play in 2023, and so I give it my bra stamp of approval for MMOs. But if you guys have opinions on this, which I'm sure you do because it's World of Warcraft and it's Blizzard and it's Activision, leave your comments down below and I'd love to read them and see what you guys think about this. And make sure to leave a like if you did like the video, but check out these videos up above, and just remember to have faith, be great, and I'll see you on an MMO.